And now the bit where I look silly. I think we found the problem. Hiya, welcome back to the channel. It's been a little while since you've probably seen me on the channel. Scotty's been very busy with his MG. You'll see behind me something that hasn't really appeared on the channel before. This is my Hilux Surf, affectionately known for some reason as Lexy. Can't exactly remember how that came about, something to do with my girlfriend, but I think that's one of those names that confuses everybody, purely because it's not a Lexus, it is a Hilux, and it is a Toyota. I've got some issues with this at the moment. There's lots of things that don't quite work on it. It is a 1992 vehicle, so it is quite old, but the rear heated screen is not working. The defroster screen is not working at the moment, which is a bit of a problem in something like this. Makes it quite difficult to see out the back window when you're driving. It's not got the best visibility at the best of times, so I'm going to try and have a look at that today, show how to take the rear door apart, look at the logic for the rear window and the heated screen, and see if we can find out what's wrong with it. First things first then, let's get this window down. If the lock will work. There we go. Gets the window down, unlock it, pull the door down. Now the spring's also gone in this, so there's nothing stopping this just falling down. We need to get in here now, which means taking off this cover. Let's do that now. Before I take this off, I'm actually going to have a look at the wiring diagram, just to familiarise myself, get that put up on the screen and try and find a link to it. It's fairly basic, with some overrides that use switches in the back here to prevent the fogger from coming on when the window's down. And then there's a relay, I believe, at the front of the car. It says on here, cassette RB left side of IP, which may well be for a left-hand drive. It's hard to know on these diagrams. It's quite hard to get the right ones for the right vehicles quite often. But hopefully some of these colours actually match up. What I actually want to do is have a look and see whether any of the colours at this end, where the heated screen is, actually match any of the colours on the diagram, and then maybe we can be able to trace this back a little bit easier. I'll also do some testing here to see whether I can get in and find out whether there's any voltage coming to this. We can do some audible tests as well, see where we can hear the relay clicking, for example, if we can manage to get the window to work by overriding the switch in here when we've got the window down. Now, taking this off isn't actually too bad. You can do it with a trim remover, but actually you can just use your fingers and it does actually come off fairly easily. Now, it just clipped on. Show you what they look like in a minute. They're really not particularly difficult to get out. Just a bit of a click needed to get those out. Just be careful you don't bend the panel too much. There we go. So they're not too bad. They're just pop clips that sit in the back. Somebody's obviously had a bit of a go at this at some point and not quite managed to get it right. But again, it's not actually a difficult piece to replace if you ever needed to replace this particular piece. It's a piece of carpet glued over the top of a piece of hardboard with a few holes in it with these clips in it. Nice and simple. And then underneath it's got a metal plate that's then held in by 5 screws. So we'll get those taken out now. This is probably not glued down properly. The plastic's normally glued down underneath. Been off before. That's what it looks like underneath. And actually, oh, it's partly glued down. That plastic is there. We can take that off. And you can see here that there's various limit switches that trigger at various different points. Some of these are for the locking mechanism. Some of these are for the window itself. I need to figure out which one's the one that allows us to override the window, and we can have a look We can get the window wound up as well. And there's actually switches in either side in the locking mechanism here that tell the control module whether the door is open or not, or whether it's locked or not. We need to override those initially to be able to move the window up so we can get to the wiring down here to see if we can see what's going on with this. I found the best way to do that is just with a screwdriver and just put it in as if it's the locking mechanism. It's on the side here. Click it down twice and that'll engage the switch, and then do the same on the other side. And that now enables me to take the key, put it into the lock, very gently, and supporting the window allow me to move it up. It will actually come most of the way out, but obviously you want to be really careful because it's now got no side supports. It's got that bit up. I can see the wiring now, which is good. There's the wires for the heated rear screen. Now I've actually been in here before. They were actually attached up here as well, like such. I've already had that bit out. I wanted to go through, see whether we can find out what's going on. Now, according to this diagram, the rear fogger is connected by a black wire, BLK, and a white and black wire. Let's have a look. They are definitely the colours that are down there. We've definitely got a black with a red dot, which is just a way of, I think, measuring it maybe. Anybody know? Put that in the comments. I don't know why they've got the extra red dots on there. They all seem to have dots on them, on all the cables. But this one's white with black, which is what it says in there. And also we've got a black on its own, which is good. This split was from where we took the tape off previously. We know that's not necessarily an issue, but it is all going to need to be looked at and probably replaced. Get some new connectors because it is quite rusty in there, definitely. We can also see on the diagram here that for the control side here of the relay circuit that switches this on and off on that side, that the rear power window limit switch in centre of tailgate is also part of this circuitry. So what we can do, find out which one that is. I believe it's this one here. Actually look at that by the fact that as everything moves along, just down in there, when this comes to the end of the travel on this cog here, that moves around this way. This drops off and this switch switches to show that it's reached the limit of the window at the top. So what I'll do is disconnect that one, short it out, and then we should be able to turn on the rear screen even when the window is part of the way down. And we can still get down to here to stick a multimeter on to measure it. Got the ignition in the on position without starting the engine. Go over, push this button here. Yeah, that's working. That turns on. At least we now should have power. I'll actually listen carefully. I can hear the relay going. You may not be able to hear it on the video, but it definitely is clicking. So with those simple couple of tests, what we've proved is this side of the circuit must be working okay. The light on the switch wouldn't light up if there was not the right action down further down. The relay wouldn't operate if this wasn't working correctly. So with the relay operating, the light turning on, we can start checking to see whether we've got power going to the switch side of the relay, and we can work out whether there's any problems with the fuses, and then we can follow the wiring loom back to see if there's any issues with the wiring loom itself. Before I do that though, just going to do a basic test, check the continuity of the ground, the earth, and also check to see whether we can see any power on the actual power supply itself coming from the relay. So the earth is the white and black, and it says under left rear pillar. Now luckily this is already hanging off, so I was doing something else with this. So that's flapping around. The actual earth points are all behind there with some additional wiring I've put in as well previously, and that wire runs continuously through here. Also runs through here. I already started taking the loom apart down there, and that runs down and then up and runs through into the back here, just sort of down there. So I get all that set up and do a continuity test, and then we can start to see whether there's any problems with that part of it. As you can see, it's quite busy and untidy back here in the left rear quarter. What we've got an earth point here. I subsequently used it for some other bits and pieces, and loads of little labels and stuff in here. Haven't had a chance to tidy all of this up yet, but we've also got wiring down here as well that comes in from the alarm system that will automatically close the rear window, and the actual control module itself. Let me have a look. There's actually this bit that feeds in from all those switches, and allows the window to go up and down. So let's check these out. There are some black and white ones here. I have to check those. I believe they go up around there, down here, down there, and then out of the body underneath, and then pop back up here, and then runs through to here. So there's no continuity there. We've probably got an earth problem. Setting that to continuity test with a beep. Take a negative lead, which looks terrible. See how that goes. Put that in there. Take this, try on an earth, doesn't work. Try on the earth that it specifically goes to. It definitely doesn't work. Let's have a bit of a wiggle at the wiring loom. Oh, we had a figure show up there for a second. I wonder if there's a, oh, yeah, there we go. It's down to 84 ohms. Oh, okay, so maybe. Yep, could well be that there's a break in that wire. Now, have a look. I'll take a trusty safety pin. I do have T-pins as well, but these are, let's try this for now. Put that into the cable. Oh, we do get something there, but it's nowhere near enough. Still 130 ohms, which is definitely not good enough. Again, it's changing as I'm moving everything around, and I can make it work occasionally. I think somewhere in this join down here, this transition that goes through this, there's probably a break in that wire. What I think I might do, put some replacements in for both the positive and the negative regardless. If I was going to do one, I may as well do the other one. Maybe cut this wire close to the connector and replace this, and then we can see whether that then starts to work. Now of course I forgot one thing there, which was it'd be great to replace the earth and the positive cable, but if there's actually no working power supply, it's not going to work anyway. So what I should probably do is make sure that certainly up to this point where we think there might be an issue, we do actually have a positive supply when the switch is turned on. So I'll get that set up now and we can get that tested. I'll turn this round to the 20 volts mark, and if I put these on, one on the body earth, one on the pin that I've got going through the wire, with the switch turned on, we've got 11.73 volts, which is about right considering this cable is a bit old, battery is a bit flat, it's going through a relay and the heater plugs are still on at the moment, so that's I think we can prove that we've got power. Maybe we'll just replace all of those wires. So I get on that now, get those replaced and see if we can get this working. What I'm going to do before I put any permanent wiring in, I'm going to use some of these lever connectors and push-in connectors, which I find are quite useful for being able to connect up things temporarily without causing short circuits. Connect them round outside the body, but they're just little levers. These are made by Ideal, but a company called Wago also make a lot of these. You might hear them referred to as Wago connectors, quite commonly used for mains electrical wiring. Really quick connect. Just flick up the levers, pop the wires in the end, and then flick the levers down and you've got a connection. Dead easy to be able to cut some wires, pop these on, test everything out, and then you can decide where to do either soldering, crimping, or putting in a new connector to be able to connect everything up. Slight mistake made. This particular connector is not the only earth here, so where I've snipped these, this is fine, but in this section here there is a join somewhere about here where this also needs to be connected. So currently the switch here isn't actually allowing the relay to activate because it doesn't have an earth. So I'm going to rectify that now, get this chopped around a little bit, get the other earth put into this block as well, and then we should be able to make a bit more progress hopefully. Splits inside, comes out here, comes down to this one as well, so around there. Just need to this main connector. Let's get that together, find it. This. A little bit more diagnosis. If I measure between this point and my new positive cable, which is currently lying on the floor, very helpful. I measure between those 2 points. I do in fact get the 11 volts that I'd expect, 11.5 volts. And if I measure between the new earth and this, I only get 5 volts. So there's something wrong with this earth cabling that's underneath there. I think we'll have to strip all of that out, put some new stuff in to replace what was there. Bit of a pain, but it's going to have to be done. I think we found the problem. These wires are literally just rotted completely through, covered in dirt. It's the other end of the loom. As I come to unplug it all, I actually went to try and take this rubber sleeve off and found the wires just fell apart. I think they were split there already. Have a look, see if I can get that sorted out. So now I've got these two nasty bits of wire out of the way, and I know where my problem was. I've stripped this back. The original wiring for this original tube that came out, it's the one that goes up and down with the window. It's understandable really that it would break, it's constantly going up and down with the window. So if we renew that with some new wire, got this green stuff, be able to splice onto both ends, use the same colours at either end, so can't really tell that anything's been done, but at least still have the same colours. Get that put together now, use all this old stuff, get it working again. Got my new bit together, haven't got those ends put on properly yet. Maybe actually try and uncrimp those and clean them up. Maybe crimp straight on the end, have to see. May commit all the crimes and do some soldering. We'll see how that goes. Don't really want to have to, but see what I can come up with a good solution to that. Need to get these bits taped back on here. Just got my tape handy. Gonna have to splice this into here and get one of the pieces to run all the way down for the positive. That should get us into a good position. If I can get all this back together, I'll show you what it looks like in a bit when I'm done. So progressing quite well. Respliced in this earth back to the original bit that splits out inside there. I think that's okay. We've got this whole bit spliced on. It needs the end sorting out with the right connectors putting on it, but that's looking alright. Generally the rest of the loom is now back together. Just need to tidy these bits up. So I'm going to do that. We'll see where we get to with that. So everything's back together. Got these all connected. Just need to go back now and do some more taping up. Loom's back in the trunking and got that turned on. Currently showing 11.92 volts, which is about right for where we were. Charged it up a little bit when we were running it earlier, but it's working alright now. So that's everything almost buttoned up. Need to find something to put in here so I can screw that back on, and I'm going to need to find something for there, which is the clamp that holds these into place. Just down there. Can't really do that, but that's so that this bit can move around as the window goes up and down. Need to find something like that. Got my cases of parts. See if we can find something in amongst this lot. That will be useful. See what we've got. I don't know what we've got here. All sorts of bits and pieces. There's another one underneath. See if we can find the right bits for this. I see the first bit already. One of those. Maybe that size? No, too big. That kind of thing. If we can get one of those that will fit in there, I'll be able to do that. I'll see. Come back to you in a minute when I've done it. Managed to get a couple of these in there. That should be somewhere to screw into now for this to go on. So I'll put that on there. Get some screws in that. Get that tapped down, and then this end managed to find another replacement one of these, so that can pop in. That just goes into a hole down there, and once that's in, start putting everything back together. As I put both locks down to fool this into thinking it was closed, now I've got to unlock it and pull that handle. Now I'll reset these. And now the bit where I look silly is to try and steam it up so I can check to see whether it's working, even though there's voltage going to it. It looks like everything's intact. Let's see whether I can get it to work. It's made it a bit steamy at least. See if it works. I've got this put back together and wound up, giving it a bit of a quick clean. The film on the inside's coming off a little bit, but what I'm going to try and do is put this kettle in the back there, get some steam on there, and then we can see whether it's working or not. quite hard to see. Just about see there. It is working. I'm quite chuffed with that. I'm going to call that one a success. It's a little job to be doing on this one, but took absolutely ages. That took me, looks at no watch, it took me about 3 hours to do that altogether. This is all reasonably clean. Need some new film on the back, but I'm going to have to peel all of that off. And now I know this is working, at least now if I take the film off, I know whether I've broken this rather than breaking the wiring. So hopefully we can get this all smartened up and we can move on to the next job with the Hilux. Thanks for watching. Comment below anything to do with this, what I've been doing today. If you've got any comments of how I could have done it better, or any mistakes that I quite obviously made while I was doing it, then let me know below. Happy to take all the advice. And thanks very much. Like and subscribe, and we'll see you soon. Cheers.